Davis, yes, kindly introduce yourself to our members so that they can know you.
Thank you so much. My name is Davis. I'm a consultant over the years, over 10 years experience. And my experience basically has been in solar technology. One of my key strategic partners, that is 𝗘𝘀𝘁, and I think over the period I've actually delivered and empowered farmers, more especially and reduce the. So as a consultant over that period of time, I was able to empower climate resilient agriculture moving forward. I think this kind of forum is very important. And having been in this industry in solar technology, I think it's one way of actually improving on modern farming. So that is all from Davis.
Okay. Thank you very much. My name is 𝗘𝘀𝘁 𝗔𝗳𝗿. I am the one leading the virtual club for Africa. We have a similar virtual club for Asia and India. So this is for Africa. And we are starting with East Africa as we expand. This virtual club was an idea that was mooted in last year, around September. And it started kicking off in October, November. That is when we started now having our webinars. So far, we've had about 3 webinars for Africa. I think Asia has had about 4 of them with the different topics. So the advantage of being a VC member is that active members can promote pitches and content. For example, what you're working on in terms of solar energy to help people harvest and use water. The platform also offers access to international chapters for active members. And selected members become eligible to attend and also be panelists in some of our Zoom calls, because we have Zoom calls every month with different topics, especially on agtechs that are helping climate resilient agriculture for smallholders. And then the platform will also organize special focus on webinars, in-person workshops, and promote some of the products that are being showcased in terms of climate resilient agriculture. So to start off, our topic today is on precision agriculture. We are looking at factors that shape or are going to shape the future of climate resilient agriculture. And our first series here we have a series of about 4 topics. So our first series is going to look on precision agriculture and what lessons can emerge. So basically, kindly, Davis, could you kindly just tell us what you understand by precision agriculture, and maybe the technologies and practices that are going on about precision agriculture that focus on climate resilient agriculture in East Africa?
Okay, thank you, Edward. Just simply precision agriculture, that's PA, is just a crop farming management concept based on identifying and managing the variability of growing condition on the crop farm. So you realize that looking at the recent, the global warming, which has been an issue globally, you can see now it's affecting really the small older farmers. Look at the change of the weather pattern. By this, it means that once we employ the best management plan and be able to have different variability in terms of adapting to the new technology. I have seen a lot of challenges the farmers have gone through, and I've seen that growth by adapting this kind of technology. So I believe once we adapt this, we are able to understand very well that precision agriculture is very, very important at this age.
Okay. To my understanding, PA or precision agriculture is more data-driven, and services are drawn from a multitude of data sources to support decision-making right from the grassroots level to the macro level. So far, like if you look at Kenya, where would we say we are at in terms of, let us say, extending precision agriculture approaches to smallholders?
That is my question.
Yeah, I'm just asking a question because it seems to be rely on a lot of data sources.
Okay.
And it is an approach that is just now gaining traction. In, let us say, Kenya, Kenya is one of the countries with the highest number of architects in Africa. So where would you say we are at in terms of precision agriculture as a country?
Anyway, what I can say is as a country, we've not done very well. I think, as you've said, actually, because of you know, the access to the actually more like modern types of phones, we are really actually improving. You can see nowadays we have most of the farmers, they have started now adapting the use of modern phones. I think there is a great improvement, but yet we've not really achieved the right percentage. We are still actually really on a low level, but I think it's something that it needs a lot of empowering moving forward. In terms of percentage, already that has not been given out to ascertain the exact percentage, but I think there's a huge actually potential that this is going to really improve in the coming future.
Okay, moving on. My second question would be, what do you feel are the opportunities and the challenges of using precision agriculture technologies in East Africa? Let us start with the opportunities.
Of course, we have very huge opportunities in this sector, more especially in the solar technology. You will find that you know, despite those challenges that most farmers are facing, more especially on the weather pattern, and this by that I can say by like water harvesting, which is a very great opportunity, whereby during actual dry season, you will find that farmers, they can continue with the farming, and by that they are able to improve their productivity all throughout the year. So by again, another opportunity that we find that in the solar technology, you will find that again, instead of now relying on the local, you see in the villages, you understand the 𝗘𝘀𝘁 lifestyle that's in the villages. Now, when you employ solar technology, it means that now we are able to provide lighting in the house, and also nowadays also we have the TV. Now the farmers, they can be able to have information, the latest information in the market as well. And also, if you look at again nowadays, we have when farmers, they have the phones, the smartphone. Now you can see that they are like 𝗘𝘀𝘁 𝗔𝗳𝗿, they normally have kind of updates on actually the weather pattern. But now when it comes to solar technology, these are very huge opportunity in terms of irrigation and also providing lighting to the homes. Those are actually the opportunity I can mention as at this point.
Okay, and just to add on to that, are we as East Africa region relying on drones as part of precision agriculture? Drones, GPS?
In Africa,
or GIS?
in Africa, drone is not. Drone actually is not very. In small scale farmers, actually, it is not being used. But if you look at large scale farmers, because of the financing aspect, you know, but for small scale farmer, actually, we are really doing very poorly on that. So I think it's something that, okay.
Oh, yeah. So you're saying that even private extension companies are not yet using drones in Africa?
Yes, exactly. They are not using it currently. Totally, I haven't seen any because I've dealt with the small scale farmers. I haven't seen drone being used, but if you look at large scale farmers, I think they are using it. And I think that's one of the opportunity we can also tap in the future, whereby farmers can have a cooperatives, whereby they are in you know, small, then they come together as a bigger group so that they are able to use the technology. One of the opportunities that I can see in that area.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that. And now, what do you think are the challenges of using precision agriculture technologies? Any challenges that you have seen from the smallholders to even the technology providers? What challenges do you see?
I think there are numerous challenges, but I can put them actually into two categories. One of it is the farmer exposure. Okay.
Okay.
The other one is about the climate change. You see, the climate change we don't have any control. But for farmers exposure, you see, these are people who don't have information. Okay. So by that, it means that now it poses a lot of challenges because when you are not empowered, I believe you don't have information. And those two major category of challenges exposes now the farmers maybe in terms of food security become a challenge again. In terms of getting finances, you know, it becomes a challenge. On climate change, you can see now the issue of global warming is now a reality in Kenya. So if now we can farmers can be empowered, and that's what I've been doing as a consultant for over the years, so that farmers, they start now adapting towards that CRA, which is very, very important, so that once they are empowered on that line, which means now they are not going to, number one, they're not going to be vulnerable. Number two, they are going to get prepared and the perception will change. And number three, they are going to adapt now the new ways of doing the agriculture in the modern days. So I think those are the major two categories that I can mention. They are under those kind of two categories. There are enormous actually challenges that we farmers are facing.
Okay. Now, to add on to that, the extension system in East Africa, you can say collapsed or just really not working. Farmers have been relying on the extension system, especially to get technology. What role do you think the extension can play in terms of facilitating empowerment of farmers to use precision agriculture?
That's actually a very good point, Edward. I think since now Kenya is more like devolved, now the county government are coming into key. Remember, we were previously on national government whereby extension officers were not enough to serve all the small-scale farmers. And I think now, once the county government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, so now they can go down through the system of provisional administration, where we have now the village elders, they put the farmers together. Now from that kind of groupings, it can help now the county government through the support of agriculture department. They can able to support those kind of groups in terms of zones in different, maybe let's say the villages. Now they can come up with now a structured way in each village, now we can have volunteers who, you know, nowadays, of course, we say that there's no jobs. You know, we have students who have done agriculture as well. They can support now, they can come support those kind of groups moving forward, but now they can do on voluntary services.
It's good that you're touching on youth to be used to sort of at least help in extension of or dissemination of precision agriculture approaches. Now, in your opinion, do you think that it is time the universities and colleges introduced something into the curriculum of agricultural courses in terms of agtechs? Do you think it is time such things were introduced?
Yes, exactly. I think that's this now the you know, it's now over time. Now we've seen that universities should adapt that model of now, you know, introduce a new approach of curriculum, which means I've seen, because I'm having a chat between the other system of 844 and the CBC, there's actually a great difference. I think that's why now again universities should come into play. They should change their approach of how, because these are now professionals who are now in the university. Now they should have a connection between now the classwork and also the real thing of now what's happening outside there. So it's more like more research and connecting to the field, so that there is that kind of after now finishing, now these people, they really understand the challenges and now they're going to provide solution to our farmers. Now you can imagine now somebody has finished, who has done maybe a bachelor's in agribusiness. I'm very sure this person will find a lot of challenges, because it was more like classwork, you know, theory work. There was no connection. When he comes outside here, now he gets a challenge of getting a job, providing solution becomes very hard, because this person has more mentality of theory, not more like hands-on. So I think universities should change their mode of delivering the education. And I think CBC is quite doing well. The country started this.
So in your opinion, there should be a transition from CBC into the universities in terms of such curriculums of education for agriculture?
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. You see, like, for example, I remember when my daughter was in actually grade 4, they were told, go and bring a hen from home. They go and start a project of poultry at school. You can imagine at that age, when somebody is still young, a child who is still young, what are you trying to train the person? The child is growing, knowing that it's more like hands-on. You understand that for this kind of management of poultry, from actually disease management, from layering food, the child is able to know all the stages. You know, by that it means when this child will be now reaching to university, he or he exactly knows what challenges and how he can provide solution to the market.
Okay. So basically, there's a very big disconnect between what the university is producing or teaching or training and the end product, who is the graduate.
Exactly, that's what I'm trying to say. If you look right now, most university, we have so many graduates, and I'm telling you, over, let's say, like 1 million graduates over the last maybe like 2 years. They don't have jobs because they're not exposed. They've been actually in class because of that system, which has not exposed them enough. But if now the government, the Kenyan government can actually continue with this, the CBC, I'm telling you, in the next actually to come, the current CBC class, I believe in the next, let's say, like probably, let's say, like 8 years, they will be the first one who, 8 to 10 years, they will be the first kind of candidate who will be getting out to the world to make a lot of changes. And actually, me, I'm living testimony because I'm having my child who is now in grade 7. I'm seeing that kind of great change that is now I'm seeing in the young person. So I'm hoping that once the government continues improving and allocating resources to the schools and also universities, we will have a lot of change, and somebody can finish university and start using the skills that he has learned from school and make a lot of changes, and more especially in agriculture.
Okay, now this is just an interjecting question. Now, what do we do with the graduates let us say you're saying they're about 1 million? Let us say from the School of Agriculture.
Okay.
Yeah? What can we do for them to at least get to learn how to use the technologies that are coming up, the agtechs, like precision agriculture? What can be done?
Now, I think the other day the president had, was actually more of making sure that the TVET programs and through also constituency support of ICT, now the graduates can now go back and maybe utilize those kind of opportunities, because by that it's going to help them acquire hands-on skills. Mm-hmm. And actually through the county government, I think what I can say that the county government has also a role in playing by actually providing those kind of support in counties, because again, remember, these students also, they are coming from somewhere. So once we have those kind of support and the willingness of now these entities coming together to support these people, and also a private organization, of course, they can also play a key role by actually offering kind of extension, maybe like management trainee, so that more especially in agricultural sector, it's going to help them so that this person can start now acquainting or getting the relevant skills to be able to provide a solution. So by that, it means that there should be a lot of collaboration between the national government and also the county government, and also the private sector. They have the key role also to play in this area, so that they can also provide those kind of internship, okay, and also providing more trainings, and also those kind of areas can be very, very key.
Okay, thank you for that. So what would you say is the adoption rate and success of PA technologies and practices? How would you look at the adoption rate? How would you describe it?
The adoption is still low, per se. But I believe through this kind of forums and also empowerment, it will help be able to greatly start now adapting, because I remember when I started providing this solar technology, at the beginning, people didn't, they didn't have that belief that solar technology can make changes. But, in our culture, in our Kenyan systems culture, they want to see somebody doing, then if you succeed, and that's when somebody will do what? Will come in, and and I've seen that. I started with one farmer, and right now I'm having over that is 100 farmers across, because they wanted to see somebody doing it, and once you become successful, then it becomes easier for others to do it. So adoption is more like people, they want to see something happening. Once they see now this change, I remember that farmer, he had a lot of challenges in the beginning in terms of doing the farming. So when we started using now the solar technology, in fact, it was on a quarter an acre. This person was able to do 300,000 in a year on a horticultural product. So by that now, when this kind of testimony came, and we start now seeing now other farmers coming in, that you want the same, time is going to improve.
Okay. So there's still a lot of from the farmer.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. I'm seeing Sun Culture promoting a lot of products for different farmers. I've seen the Rainmaker. I've seen the other one. What is it called? I've seen around four to five products that you have.
Yeah, we have 𝗘𝘀𝘁 𝗔𝗵𝗿𝗶, we have Rainmaker, we have CSD. We have a number of those products, and this product, we don't give you those kind of product. We have to do first assessment. We get to know the source of water, the distance of the source of water. We need to understand the total dynamic head, so that we are able to recommend the right product to the farmer.
Okay, I can also see that you have now higher purchase.
Exactly. This kind of equipment, they are very expensive, but now we have two options. You can buy on cash, okay? You can buy on higher purchase. Now you can do a deposit, then over the period, now you can do a small installment payment on it's more like a pay-go usage.
Okay. What do you think is the future of precision agriculture in East Africa? Is it something that will broadly be embraced or abandoned along the way?
Okay, fine. Actually, the future is actually very bright, and I think very, very importantly, there is actually a potential from actually the research. We are looking forward to actually the agricultural productivity to grow by 70% by 2050, as per the projection. With the growing population, I think it's very important we employ the precision agriculture techniques that can help us deliver much needed food security in the decades to come. So as Sun Culture, we've actually strategically aligned ourselves in that direction, that every day we actually transforming lives of the smallholder farmers, that in the next period, we that been projected, so that we're able to be a country that is of food security. And once we have food security, now the farmers are able to provide for themselves. Thank you.
Okay. Now, at the moment, how broad is your coverage in terms of Sun Culture in Kenya?
Currently, our coverage is countrywide, but specifically we have regions that are very actively. Now, if you look at North Rift, they are very active. We have Nyanza region. We have that is Machakos, Makueni. We have Kwale, that is Mombasa, that's Malindi, but more especially that's Kwale region. They are very active. West as well. Those are now the region where we are very actively because of the farmers that we have from those regions.
Okay. And you have a package that comes with, let us say, climate or stress-tolerant varieties of seeds, or you just provide the technology?
With us, we only provide technology. We don't provide seeds.
Okay. And do you have, are you sort of thinking of bundling, to say, with the, let us say, insurance, agricultural insurance?
Already our product are insured, in the event that, let's say, like natural calamity, like maybe thunderstorm, okay? All our products are insured.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And apparently, some of the, I don't know whether it's contradictory, some of the newspapers and blogs are saying adoption of precision agriculture is on the rise. What do you have to say about that?
Yes, definitely they should have us maybe, maybe they have a source where they have seen that there is a rise of PA. I think from my end, I've seen that one working, and I think that's why we have it over the media, that is adoption towards that direction.
Okay, and does Sun Culture have plans to, let us say, expand outside Kenya, or you're just concentrating on Kenya at the moment?
Oh yes, we are in Africa.
Which other country?
We actually in the north part of Africa. Okay, especially Niger, we are there. Nigeria, I think we are soon entering Nigeria. Uganda, okay, in East Africa, we are also in East Africa. So already the company has made a lot of milestone being in Africa as a company. We started very well. Actually, for the last 5 years, there was that expansion, but it was more like actively in the late last year. We've really expanded to Africa.
Okay. So now I would say thank you very much for responding to our questions in the webinar. We have come to the close of the webinar. If you have any questions for us, please feel free. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, 𝗘𝘀𝗿 for this kind of forum. I've really appreciate a lot, because it's one way of actually sharing information and what's happening currently, more especially in the area of agriculture. So I think my more question I want to find out, because I want to look forward to be part of this forum, because I believe that you have a number of partners that are ready to support the farmers. What arrangement do you have, so that I understand in the coming days that we are able to engage the key partners, or maybe such kind of forums that we are able to reach people who are interested to be able to be part of this kind of technology?
Okay, thank you for that question. What I can say is that so far we have over 100 active members, of which you have become one. We have monthly meetings with different topics around architects that are helping climate resilient agriculture. We are in the process of also building a strategy for climate change as MSC that will cover both Africa and Asia. We are also onboarding donors at the moment and investors to come and try to see how they can come on board and help this cause. So at the moment, we're still growing. And if you remain a part of us, even on LinkedIn, you will see some of the spaces that we are opening up. But so far, we have realized there's a lot of potential, especially for Africa, in terms of climate resilient agriculture. And the process is ongoing of now onboarding investors and experts, and trying to raise funds and resources, or resource mobilization, and technical advisories and mentoring support for promising and upscaling solutions, such as what Sun Culture is doing. So that is where at the moment, it is still young. We just told you, we just started in October last year, as we push on and we see the traction as it goes. So thank you very much for being an active member. Kindly stay with us and watch this space grow.